Sure. Okay.
Oh, I guess it's 7 o'clock.
Just all over me. He's on his way.
We've started.
We have started.
We have.
Yeah.
It looks like you can look at your land.
All right, welcome everyone to the January City Council Workshop meeting. First things first, the pledge to the flag. Pledge
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Normally Nathan says the prayer, but I'll say the prayer today. Heavenly Father, thank you for being here with us today and guiding us through this meeting as we, as elected officials, try to do the best that we possibly can. Please, Lord, just give us insight, give us balance, and let us be the best leaders that we possibly can. In your name. Amen. So first things first is our organizational meeting that we have, a regularly scheduled election. We have to go through and vote on our mayor pro tem, and then we have started doing a backup mayor pro tem because of the tragedy that has sparked our city as of recently with our late Mayor Montalver. And so we need to have a nomination of the mayor pro tem, and then also a nomination of the backup successor for mayor pro tem as well. That will be a vote of the city council. So someone will nominate, and if we have a second on that nomination, we will then vote on that nomination. We skipped it. Showing up now. There you go. I stole your prayers.
God hears us.
So we're getting started on the organizational meeting of the election of the mayor pro tem and the backup pro tem. Nathan, just to get you caught up. Okay. So I need to know if there is a nomination.
I nominate Nathan Pruitt to be the pro tem.
We have a nomination for Nathan.
I nominate Gabriel Gomez.
Thank you. All right, well, can I have two, so we'll go down the line. Gabe?
Well, I guess I'll nominate myself.
All right. Crystal?
I'll second Nathan.
Yeah. 2 and 2. Nathan?
Vote or what?
No, you get to, at this point, you're either breaking a tie or putting out somebody else.
I'll vote for myself, I guess. No offense, Gabe.
I'm taking.
All right, so Tara is trying to control. Ah.
Hey, when you can, please let Nick know I am going to do.
Yes, click on it. She's joining, so right now it should be.
And she nominates Renee.
Got it.
I'll take one.
Yeah, she's here. Tara? Here you are.
Hi. All right. So, you're welcome. So right now we have Nathan as the nomination. Now we need to just go through and cast a vote for if, as a city council, we accept Nathan as the mayor pro tem. Start with Sylvia.
Aye.
Do.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we are all in favor of Nathan for mayor pro tem. And then for assessor mayor pro tem, now we need to go through the nomination process again. So first on the nomination,
I'm gonna go ahead with Tara.
Tara with 1.
Tara?
I would nominate myself as well.
Okay, Bob?
I nominate Crystal.
Gabe?
Crystal Hendricks.
Crystal?
Not myself, no. I'll say Tara.
Nathan?
I'll take, I'll nominate Tara.
All right, Tara is our nomination, and now I need a vote for Tara.
Aye.
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 Aye. All in favor for Tara as successor mayor pro tem? All right, that'll conclude the organizational part of the meeting. Onto the fund stuff. So, first up, as far as business is concerned, has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes for the December council meeting?
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes? I have a motion from Crystal. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Gabe. Are you in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Sarah? Bob? Gabe? Aye. Crystal?
Aye.
Nathan? Aye. All right, all in favor of accepting meeting minutes? Okay. Now, we talked about fences recently, and I never imagined fences would be the subject that we would really have to go in on. Here we are. So let's talk about it. So the original discussion about why fences were even brought up were the Pendergrass Glen neighborhood in the city is requesting a zoning variance, an amendment rather to their zoning to allow privacy fences. There was when that property was zoned, and that ordinance was approved by the council at that point. No fences were allowed at that point. And so now the owners and the HOA that has taken over are wanting to amend that so they can allow fences. There's been discussion now over types of fences, whether they should have them at all, and then it even digressed to should there be regulation of fences, period, not only in that particular neighborhood, but just in general, a permitting application for fences, which this city has not had. And so you've been gifted with plenty of literature of different ordinances from different cities around the area and in Georgia. So to kind of give you a little bit of idea about what others do in these instances. So now we need to discuss, one, is this really what we want in the city? And then two, start outlining what it is that we want in this, if it is so. And then further, if we don't want it, what is the holdup? Are we going to allow Pendergrass Glen to make this amendment or not? So that's all that's going on with this fence stuff. Tara, are you hearing me pretty good?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm ready to go whenever it's my turn.
Okay. Sylvia, it's your first meeting. Welcome. This kind of got stemmed a little bit by you in your public comment for their last meeting. So do you want to start the charge in this and your particular feelings on this? And let's go from there.
Well, the ordinance would be a lot for the city to take on. Do we have the means to regulate? Are we specifically doing this for the city, or are we specifically looking at just Pendergrass Glen and helping them by changing?
So if we do it by ordinance, that's blanketing the city. We can't say, hey, here's one group that we can put an ordinance in and then exile the rest of the city. Now, what we can do is tell them, hey, we'd like you to put this in your HOA documents. But at the end of the day, they can change that. It's their HOA. And as a city, HOAs are protected in that way. We can't dictate what HOAs do, unless we do it citywide. So, for example, speed limits and things like that.
And I have a question to understand just more of what you're saying, Nick.
Yeah.
Possibly, perspective, if you don't mind. If we gave them an ordinance to not include fences, can we not amend that original ordinance to allow them to include fences?
Yeah, that's something that we can do. The question was, if we allow them to amend that ordinance to allow them to build a fence, the concern that was brought up was the kind of fences for that neighborhood in general. Tara, I don't know if you've been inside that neighborhood or not, but it was built specifically to be fenceless because of how close the buildings are together, how close they are. That was the design, and so that's why it was put in the ordinance, and that was put in the ordinance by the developer of that property back years ago. So the question was, if we allow fences, do we regulate the kind of fence? But the only way that we can regulate the kind of fence is if we do a blanketed city ordinance to adjust that.
Now, the other issue that comes into play is you have so many fences already,
Right?
and then how do you regulate what's already been done to city ordinance? You know, how do you document who gets grandfathered in?
Yeah, I don't think you get grandfathered in with an ordinance.
They don't grandfather anybody with ordinances, so unfortunately.
So you're talking about hundreds of residents within the city that this would affect.
Potentially, depending on what kind of regulations that, if imposed, would be put down.
So if that's the case, then because the Pendergrass Glen was built to be no fences, I'm going to say we leave it alone and no defenses in Pendergrass Glen.
I'm kind of confused.
I am too. I'm very confused.
If we pass fence ordinance, I'm just throwing numbers, 5 foot, and someone 3 years ago built a 6 foot,
Yeah.
they have to come down a foot.
Yeah,
But that's where you have that flexibility of maximum 8 feet.
sure. So there's plenty of different things that give you variances. So in the instance that you were talking about grandfathered in, the vast majority of HOAs and neighborhood fences at this point that have been allowed are a maximum of 6 foot privacy fences using wood. I don't believe any allow for
Chain link.
chain link or vinyl, but there are chain link fences within the city limits.
And they would have.
And if they fall within a residential zoning, then they would fall within that rule. Now if it's hairy, right?
Yeah.
Gets real hairy because then you're going into neighborhoods.
And you know what? This is all the lawyer's fault, okay?
Well, you're going into neighborhoods and people already have an HOA that they've been following covenants and bylaws. And so you're going in there changing some of the rules that people have already, I mean, if you go into Brooks Village, there's all kinds of fences. You got 8 foot high, you got gray fences, you got wood fences, you got different colored fences. People are,
Yeah, and that's
the alley between
And my
fences.
question is, at what point do we become a city that governs every little thing that everybody does?
I was-
We don't even have a reason.
Yeah, I was under the impression this was more for Pendergrass Glen and for the new townhomes being built.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I got.
You know, when we start going down the rabbit hole, you start having to figure out what the legality is of what we can and cannot do.
Yeah.
You know, we can't cherry pick where our ordinances will lie. You know, there's special tax zoning districts that we can create.
So we're just taking over the streets in Pendergrass Glen, not the HOA.
That's correct.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
So then I don't know why we're even talking about an ordinance then.
Well, we talked about fences, and they requested a change, the amendment to the fence. So that came from Pendergrass Glen, the HOA there.
My opinion is that we amend their ordinance
Yeah.
to allow this, that comply with our quality of life ordinance, which we already have in place, and leave them specifically along
And that's where I don't
Right, further.
That's I wanted to put all the information out there to make everybody make their decision.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be unfair to allow all these other neighborhoods to have fences and then tell them, no, you can't have a
Because
fence.
honestly, like Gabe said, I know with Brooks Village, I worked along with that HOA. We allow, our thing is that as long as it's not crazy, it's your house. And so I know there's all types of different fences in Brooks
Yeah.
that would be affected by this. That they have to, either tear it down and do another one, or
And most people that built fences have built their fences quite some time ago at this point.
Right.
And only spent several thousand. And now,
you're right.
fencing costs at this point, they could spend $20,000 pretty easy.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah. I didn't think of that, you're totally right.
We would be asking people to,
It's a burden to our residents of Pendergrass.
right. And we just don't have it like
And
that.
now, if we do have as Kara said, if there's quality of life and
Yeah.
it's addressed in there, I would be fine with amending it to, if
So
everyone's in agreement, to allow them.
our quality of life ordinance specifies, and if I remember this correctly, doesn't specify design or any of those requirements. It only specifies if it's in good quality at that point. It is
Right,
good standing
right.
to make sure it's not shabby and falling down and becoming hazardous and becoming an eyesore to deter property values of neighbors and other properties.
Right. That's also why in these giant subdivisions, the HOA ordinance, they have to have an HOA. The HOA is expected to maintain property values. I feel like if we go into this route, we are way over ordinance, way over our current employees. For the city, I would like to keep in place because they work hard and, that's what I'm, which means, I don't know, that's how I feel, that's my opinion.
I agree.
Okay, so if I'm hearing this correctly from everybody, we are wanting to start the amendment process of the subdivision for Pendergrass Glen specifically, of their zoning ordinance, to amend it for them to allow fencing. Is that correct?
By their request.
By their request, yes, it's by their request.
But that includes, making sure that there's, the fence is gonna look where it's gonna keep property values up, right? Because, once again,
What we do is the only thing that we can mandate at that point. We can suggest that they have a certain way that they build their fence, but the only thing that we can mandate at that point is through our quality of life ordinance, to make sure that their fences are maintained. But we cannot mandate if they're going to be metal, chain link, vinyl, wood, so on and so
Because
forth.
that would fall under their HOA.
Yes.
But, my thing is just, once again, all those wooden fences going down 332 that are falling in, how do you hold the HOA responsible for that? I mean, if they're not pushing it at seasons to make sure that when people are building their fences, they're building them correctly, or with materials that will hold up.
You have to refer to the complaint as not safe, bad looking, according to the quality of life, and need to enforce. But we probably don't have the enforcement capabilities at this point.
Gotcha.
True.
Oh, we do. We have the enforcement capabilities.
If we don't have it, it's
I mean, no, I mean, this is an easy enforcement. And, whether it be Brooks Village, Seasons, Walnut Grove, or whatever neighborhood within the city, it's the HOA's job to enforce this at that point, right? Because that's in their HOA docs. In fact, I know every single HOA doc in the city. And so we can hold the HOA accountable if we needed to, or if we needed to go individually to the house owner, the city can go to individually the house owner, property owner, and have that addressed. So whatever route that needs to go through, it can be addressed. And sending an officer over for a couple complaints is not going to be a burden on them. Because let's just be real, as far as fences are concerned, there's just not that many that are in the city that are just
Oh,
causing
yeah,
a
there's a lot that are.
There's only maybe a few, I think. All right. Do we want to discuss fences anymore?
Nope.
Love fences. Fences make good neighbors, indeed. You're welcome for all the literature.
Filter tree.
Right. All right. Next on the agenda, something that I think a lot of people in the city have been wanting and desiring and looking forward to is the discussion of possibly a golf court regulation ordinance. So obviously this would be to be in favor of golf carts within the city. Currently, there's not an ordinance for or against, and so this would be a regulation of that type of vehicle. We say golf cart for lack of better terms, but it's really a low speed vehicle, LSV. And a lot of different types of vehicles fit under that category. But essentially, it's one that travels at a maximum speed of 25 miles an hour. And, there's plenty of regulations dictating that. You've been given a lot of literature of different cities. I particularly enjoy the city of Monroe's statute of golf court ordinances. They don't particularly over-regulate. They're pretty clear about what they do, and it's not too much of a detriment on city staff. And you have to be licensed in order to drive. So it's not the 9 and 10-year-old and 12-year-old that are driving on the streets with golf carts. You have to be a licensed, insured driver in order to drive within the city at that point. So, do we have any discussion points when it comes to golf carts? Anybody want to discuss anything about that? What you got?
Honestly, I am right now a strong no against the golf course.
Strong no. Strong.
Not a weak no, but strong. Reason being, for the next at least year and a half, 2 years, Pendergrass is going to be a 4 square mile construction zone. And I think it's just an accident waiting to happen if you have golf carts, allowing it, it's just going to increase. Right now I see very few. And I think this would open the doors in the middle of the construction to have golf carts going around. I know those drivers would be licensed. They're going to have young children in the cart. And we know those aren't the best vehicles for protection. You're going to have cement trucks, roadblocks. I would rather wait till at least some of this is done. We have our traffic signals put in, the roads are better. I just think it's too soon right now. It would be something I'd listen to after some of these projects are finished. I think it's an accident waiting to happen if you do it in the middle of the construction we're going to have going on for the next year to 2 years.
I kind of agree with Nathan as far as that's concerned. Something we could maybe ask the builders too when they're doing these new constructions is that, and I don't know if there's room for it, a golf cart lane, because technically most of the ordinances, you're not allowed to drive it on state roads, which 332 is a state road. So basically most of these golf carts are only going to be driven within community unless there's a golf cart lane or passageway. So where I see this helping is, which we saw, we see during, I guess, the spring, summer, fall, is like a season, there's a couple that have golf carts and they're allowing their young children to drive these around the neighborhood. That's my only concern
But that's
there.
against the law.
Yeah, right, so what do we do about that? Is the ordinance, you know, do we go ahead and call our police to go ahead and when we see this going on, do we talk to them and say, look, you shouldn't be driving? Do we become the Karen in the neighborhood? But I'm with Nathan as far as because of the construction going on, it's going to take a little bit to research because of this being 332 out here, where are we actually going to, if they do have it, where are they actually be able to use it?
So I just think there's a little bit of personal responsibility involved with the golf cart drivers. I mean,
There is, but some parents,
yeah, but again, it's not just parents, it's people with the low-speed vehicles. I mean, you could be talking about ATVs, you could be talking about a lot of different things. And I've mentioned golf cart lanes in the past. I think that's an excellent idea. But I hope that it's not in the budget. But
not for us, but I'm like, if we have these buildings, like, let's say, for instance, the townhouse, or the townhomes that got approved, they're supposed to be building sidewalks that they can walk to the town community. If they make those sidewalks a little bit wider to include a golf cart, that it's not on, per se, on 332, then you have a more viable.
we did.
That was a no.
We did.
It was a no.
I pushed for that.
Oh,
Yeah, and they said no.
There's not enough space.
okay, well,
It becomes a space issue.
And that's where the,
So 332 gets locked down, but the inside of the downtown district area here, and then Glen Abbey, going all the way down to the elementary school, that's city road at that point, and that would be open.
that would be.
So there are still quite a few residents within the city that can take advantage of that. I get the construction issue.
So, but with that out here, so you're saying out here would be fine, but until we get the speed limit lower,
Correct?
that's gonna be an issue, and that's gonna, you got a year
So
long.
what is that? It's, I think it goes to 45 just at Walnut Grove, or somewhere around there. It's 35 here within the city, in the downtown.
Still a long way from Walnut Grove to the elementary school.
And that's only gonna be until what, August? Well, not even May, because then they move to the new school August,
Yeah, but that school's still operational.
even after, so
Yeah.
next year it's gonna be operational.
Yeah, they're splitting it. So Mountain Creek is the current line. They can always change it, but the current line is Mountain Creek. So everything south, Mountain Creek, Brooks Village, Blakely, Seasons will be going to Heroes, and everything north, Blackberry, Pendergrass, Glen, Walnut will be going to, and then Town Center will be going to North Jackson. They do intend to shut North Jackson down eventually. They had a 5 years plan. I think we're 3.5 in to that 5 year.
So basically another year open.
No. We have, another 3 years.
Okay.
Another 3 years of them. Yeah.
We're a year and a half into it.
Correct. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tell me again, you said golf carts are illegal on 332 on state roads.
Yeah, you can't drive it on state road.
So that I don't think we're ready to even figure anything out on golf carts. I mean,
Yeah.
You can do crossings. You can cross over state routes. You can cross over railroads. You can't drive on them.
Oh, right.
saying, would it be fair for people here to drive golf carts and others who want to come to the town on a golf cart? That'd be fair,
Again, just speaking because I've been so close to the apartments and townhomes, I've seen how they have to close the road. They'll have a flagman stopping traffic, bringing in the cement truck or the big lumber truck or the equipment truck. To me, and that's going to multiply times 2. That's just too much to have golf carts kind of, because that truck driver carrying is loud. He can't hear a golf cart horn. I don't care what you put on it, it's not as visible as a car or a truck. It's just, to me, while we have all the construction coming, it's not even worth taking up right now. It'd be something, let's finish some of these projects, have them.
So basically, it's not a no, it's just can we table it for another, till later on this year?
Not even.
Oh, I heard it. It was not only a no, it was a hell no.
I think
It's
strong.
strong.
Strong no.
Strong.
I'd say we at least table it.
Well,
Let's
this
get it
isn't,
going.
you know, this is obviously just a discussion, so if this is not something that needs to be pushed forward, then we won't.
I will say, there'll be a point, if there, I'm not in a subdivision now, so I don't know currently, but if there is a lot of golf carts, because I know in the subdivision it's different, like at Halloween, you see them everywhere, you know, trick or treat.
Yep.
If there is an issue with young kids driving them, now maybe that's something we should take up. And
Well, the thing
regulate.
is, I really think, and I have to go back and read the HOA for seasons, I think there is a no golf or golf cart ordinance or low speed
There-
vehicle.
It's in every.
So it's not supposed, they're not even supposed to have them.
It's not in our HOA. You're allowed to have a golf cart in our neighborhood. You're not allowed to have a, one of those Raptors or where those things are. But a golf cart you can
Do you
have.
know the age limit on it?
I don't even think it says an age limit, to be honest with you. Yeah, but I could pull the documents.
But we're okay with low-speed vehicles like tractors, right?
Well, that's it. They have a special permission over that. I will say this, when it comes to golf carts, and everybody's concerned and worried, it does only affect the roads that are 35 mile an hour. I mean, so even if it were to be implemented today, you're talking about only being able to drive in the downtown or in subdivisions. And I'm going to tell you right now that one of the reasons why this ordinance really brought to my attention was because HOAs are difficult to navigate at this point with a lot of the neighborhoods due to rentals and getting HOA docs adjusted because of that. And so to have a low-speed vehicle such as a golf cart being allowed within a neighborhood without having to change HOA docs because city ordinance supersedes HOA doc, that allows these neighborhoods and these residents to be able to use these vehicles by some standard, some regulation for them to drive.
And I'm all for that because, I mean, you go to our pool in the summer, there's nowhere to park. You know, some people come up with their kids, golf cart.
Seasons
There's
is
a
the same
pool in
way.
there and park, you know. So,
I'm sure Walnut Grove will be the same way.
you know.
So the three major neighborhoods, the three largest neighborhoods that do have a pool facility, I know would benefit from allowing golf cart usage within that 35 mile an hour zone.
I'm still, still strong enough. If we're trusting the HOA with fences, then let's let the HOA determine their golf cart. Until, like I said, let some of these projects get done to where it's not gonna be so hectic with big equipment and things, we'll come back to it. But for the next year to two, I just think it would create more problems than it would help.
Are you for that, people have golf carts in their neighborhood? Let's go to the pool, so just in the
Yeah, if it
neighborhood?
was me personally, yeah, sure. That's fine. I would still, even in the neighborhood, I wish an HOA would have a, licensed driver thing. Like,
Yes.
you'd have a 10-year-old, they're gonna, you know how kids are. They're gonna be playing and they're not gonna see the truck backing out of the driveway.
How do you know that they're licensed as an HOA? Do you have an HOA police?
Well, the HOA could require them to get a permit from the HOA.
Yeah, but then, like, how are you, that's my point is,
How do you enforce who's actually driving it?
right. You know, a lot of the street parking issues that we have with the HOA is because we're having to use our police department to enforce those issues because of that enforcement act.
So there's no teeth on it. The HOAs couldn't do anything, to enforce it. They set letters and whatnot telling you not to park.
Yeah.
But, it's not like we could write tickets or tow they said we are not allowed to tow the vehicles,
Really?
even though, yeah.
The HOA can't call and have a vehicle towed. In our covenants, it says.
It
we can have
says
a
you
vehicle
can,
towed.
but you can't. there's no teeth to it.
Try it, see.
I've had that issue before.
All right, I'm hearing, hold off. That's the general.
Yeah, I think
I'm for a golf cart ordinance, but just not right now until we figure this out more. And as Nathan said, construction gets done because once you put an ordinance, it affects the whole entire city, not just the neighborhoods.
But only roads that are 35 miles an hour.
And less. But this is about to be 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, but your stretch between Seasons and Brook Village is 55 miles an hour. So
Yeah, that won't.
those,
Speed bumps, right?
yeah, you're gonna put speed bump on a state road.
They won't mind.
A collision with a cement truck at 25.
We're
Golf cart lane
We're
would
gonna
be
have
great.
to cut across to the warehouse, and then the warehouse cuts
That's
through. But then you're only to 45 before you get to the 35.
Hey, you know, it's just one more step. All right, hold on. All right. What else we got? Anybody want to bring something else up before we go to public comment? All right, public comment. With that, we're done.
All right.
It wasn't too bad.
Sheriff? Write it out. You still there?
there he's still there. She goes,
So, are we done?
And then did you shut down?
No, I'm waiting for a response here.
Well, nice meeting you. You as well, sir.